Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition, part 2. I'm your host and keeper of the Harry Channel, and with me tonight are minions. Where are you guys? I am not Jack Gunsky. Hi, Jack Gunsky.
6869.
Yes, DrFunctional.
100101000.
You are not a Binar. Don't even start with me. SkepTock.
I was just saying hello.
SkepTock. Hi, everybody. Sora Luna.
Hello.
And Serenity Star 13. Have we lost Serenity already?
She might be kicking her router if she's
probably
stuttering.
Well, router deserves it. It knows what it did. Well, going back to the beginning. Hi, Jack.
Hi.
How are you? How have you been? I haven't spoken with you in probably like 2 months.
Yeah, I know. I've been freaking all over the freaking place. I can't even begin. I had to leave my last job, and I found a new job, and it's better, and it's been stressful, and now I need to. Tomorrow, I'm probably gonna go out and buy a new car.
Nice.
When Jack talks, it's like a roller coaster. So I left my job, and then I got a new one, and it was good.
That's how life works, man. Well, I want to know what kind of car you're getting.
That's awesome. Dude.
What kind of car are you getting, man?
Well, here's the thing. We've been shopping around for ages now.
Okay.
Been looking for used cars, but the market seems to have shifted somewhat in terms of the car market. You now have to pay a premium for the privilege of sitting in someone else's car that they probably died in.
Yep.
I feel you. I'm in this position.
It is no longer an economical option to buy a used car. The economical option now is to buy new, which I never would have thought would have happened. I can't believe that.
Are they still offering relatively cheap financing to try to entice you to buy it in spite of the interest rates, or are you just going to pay cash?
Oh, I'm going to pay cash.
Good man.
I'm not dealing with any mess.
I assume you've done all your homework.
Take no mess, Harry.
I assume you've done all your homework and looked at what the invoice is and all the other nonsense and shopped around for deals and the whole 9 yards.
Well, I mean, the thing is that I went into the thing. I just basically said I either want a Honda or a Toyota. And so I'm just gonna be looking at the baseline models of those. I'm gonna be looking at the Civic and the Corolla because I can't afford anything above that. As much as I love my used Camry, I'm gonna have to go for the cheaper option.
The newer Corollas though are a lot better quality than Corollas used to be.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not a luxury car guy. I just need 4 wheels and a seat. So, and there are a few things that I would like to have, but pretty much everything I want comes standard nowadays.
Yeah, I have like a 20-something-year-old car. Sora's sort of in the same boat. It sounded like Sora, like you were thinking you might want to get a new one. You giving up on yours?
I don't want to, but no, not yet. So basically, I have a Suzuki. They don't manufacture those anymore. Parts are thin on the ground. Mitsubishi in Canada has kind of taken them over as a sister brand. And there's some places I have found that still have parts. Called for service. They said, well, we technically don't have any Suzuki service people, but we can do a diagnostic and check. If it's something we can do for you, we will try. My issue is the ABS module. I may need a new one or reprogram the one I have. No one else can help me because they don't have the parts. They don't know how to do it. And this will be the cheapest way to go about is trying through Mitsubishi, which will be next week.
That's not a good position to be in. You may be stuck.
No.
You may just have to get a new one.
They say that that's the problem because the diagnostic... So it's going to be a full one. They asked me, did you want just to look at that or do you want us to run the full thing? I'm like, since I'm here, just do the whole thing. Because if there's anything else that can be updated, I'd rather know the price, right? So like it's one, the difference is $50 together just for them to focus on just the brake system or just to do a full walk around of the car. So like, yeah, I can spend an extra $50, and then I want to know, hey, now that you know we're looking at what part is extremely obsolete, what is, because the car itself, what am I talking about? That's fully obsolete because they don't freaking make it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So it is depressing because I don't want to get rid of my car.
No, I
But
know.
and then I was told one of the things I was told of was like, well, you might have better luck if you go down to the States. What time do I have to do that?
Yeah.
To hunt down across the border. But the issue is if the ABS isn't going to work properly. Now it's 2 sets of brakes, right? You've got your standard brake and then you have your ABS. So in theory, it shouldn't be it's not unsafe. But the whole point of the ABS is that it doesn't lock up your wheels, right? Your tires and all that.
You
So
skid in a straight line.
Yeah, and I have used them before. It is phenomenal, especially in the winter
Yeah,
here.
it's amazing. It's absolutely
I love
amazing.
my
In
ABS, and I
Colorado,
know it's
amazing.
failing.
Yeah. Yep.
The thing is that my car's sensors, like, so if it's failing and needs to be replaced or something's wrong, the sensor indicates that the light goes on, right, on your dashboard. So
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't go on. And I was told, well, the thing is it might not be failing in the way it's programmed to switch the sensor off. So it could be something as small as, what did he say? There is like a pinprick hole somewhere. And they wouldn't know how, like at a regular service place, they don't want to touch the ABS system, et cetera, whatever.
Yeah.
I used to have a place that I would go to. It was a German guy. He didn't care what type. He loved to work on everything. You had some issue that he would take everything. Japanese, German, everything. He got to a point where he needed to retire. None of his sons wanted to take over the business, even though they all worked as mechanics in the store. So he sold it. And since then, that was 15 years ago. And we were dealing with just these, what would you call them? Corporate chains.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, where I'm stuck. So I'm with Jack. The next step would be actually probably easier to just go through a dealership, like pick a brand, go through a dealership, and basically hope, stick with them so they do the service for the next 10 years, and then start this mess all over again. But I don't want to do that. So, and it's the same thing. I'm looking at, if I would look at similar cars, like if I want to just replace my car with the same car, but like slightly newer model, it's not cheap. Like you might as well just pay more and get a brand new car, and you have all sorts of the perks of having it be serviceable, all that sort of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, but the cars now have way too much attitude. They bing at you if they think if they can't see the lines on the road. They stop prematurely if they think you're about to run over something.
That is the one holdout I have about modern cars is they think they're so clever.
You don't have a key. You don't have a proper handbrake.
Yeah, it's got a big
really
TV screen in the middle of it that's just going to fail, 9 years from now when you're out of warranty.
Yep,
that's fun.
You have the backup cameras and stuff. Like even if
those
the big
fail.
stuff is annoying, those backup cameras are annoying because they don't actually give you the proper proportions or dimensions around you. So you think, okay, I'm within the lines, but you're like 2 meters away from where you can park. Oh, I hate that because I rented a car with a camera.
Car electronics are just planned obsolescence, frankly.
I think I may have told you this story, but my dad liked to fix up cars sometimes, among his other hobbies. He got a Lincoln Continental Mark III, which at the time it came out was one of the most technologically advanced cars you could imagine. Power everything. Now, this was before everything had power everything, but this car had power everything. It was this huge black boat of a car. Skep knows what I'm talking about. Lincoln Continental Mark III. Of all the cars to buy used, this is probably one of the worst ones because it's full of all these parts that are one-offs and all of this electrical stuff that just breaks. And I remember him struggling with that car, and it's just like, why though? Why? You have to be a really stubborn masochist or somebody with a lot of money to restore a car like that. And that was back when you could sort of get parts for it. As far as Sora's car goes, Suzuki is a very, very, very conservative company. If they have something that works, they will use the same part for like 10, 15 years, and they will just not change it. They're very slow to change, but since they just sort of stopped making cars, that doesn't help you. Because if they'd kept making cars, they'd probably have that same ABS module in them today. Because that's just the way Suzuki sort of works. Man, I'm sorry. I'm keeping my Subaru until they pry it from my cold, dead hands. That's all I can say.
And it's the one of the saddest parts is the shape of the car. So I have a Suzuki Grand Vitara, and it's like a small SUV, and it is. I keep saying tall, but tall is not correct. The cabin is long. The height of the cabin is longer, I guess. I don't even know how to say it, because when people think tall cars, they're like, oh, big wheels. No, it's not height from wheels. It's the cabin itself. I step in, and I don't feel claustrophobic. You step into a modern SUV, and it's supposed to make it more aerodynamic. The cabin is short, even though the car itself, you step up into it because the wheels are bigger. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know why that is, don't you?
No, I don't. I'm not good with cars.
Well, no,
I'm just
my
assuming
understanding, and I could be wrong because I'm not an expert on cars, but I believe the reason is because they replaced the traditional truck chassis of an SUV with a regular mid-size chassis.
I heard the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cafe standards being what they are, everything's weird.
Screw it, I'm getting an F-150 and I'm running everybody on the road.
Nice.
Like,
Replace your
and
bumper with
like,
a railroad tie.
Yeah, no, with the cow catcher thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get those. Like at that point, I got so mad the other day, like when I was told this about the car, that I was just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I don't care how much it costs or how much the fuel's going to run me dry. I'll just drive it on the weekends, but I want to just get a monster.
Yeah. F's in the chat for Sora's car. Hi, Serenity.
Can I be heard now?
Yes, you can.
Yay, you're
Loud
back.
and clear.
I heard you grumbling when you came back in.
It was just
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I swear to God, I
StreamYards
have to
is
use my
awesome.
laptop. I'm going to kill people.
Yeah, well, I kind of poked a hornet's nest with that whole car thing. Thanks, Jack.
Oh, no.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. So how are things?
Hello, Johnny.
Did you have to Annie Oakley any more varmints? Everything good in your state?
It's the rainy season, so they've either gotten flooded or they have plenty of stuff to eat.
Good.
So
Screw them.
They're good.
Good.
They're running around.
Excellent.
Sorry, if you want a truck-based SUV, you can get the Toyota 4Runner. You can get one of them.
You should see.
yeah.
Can you get like the Hilux in Canada?
No, I don't think they can get the Hilux in Canada,
The indestructible car, the car that even Top Gear guys couldn't destroy.
which is talent, I tell you.
Yeah. Fine
But no,
automobile.
the 4Runner is still built on a truck chassis. The Land Cruiser is still built on a chassis.
Somebody is being very noisy. Who is typing?
Oh, that's me. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I just noticed I had my mic on my computer. I'm so sorry.
No, not a problem.
Hammering.
And the Toyota's quiet.
Yeah, that's nice. Stop that hammering.
If you want a truck-based
I was actually messaging Miss Undoomed. As a matter of fact, we're talking about popcorn flavored chewing gum.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
It's an
But
important
yum.
conversation, just a side conversation I was having while I was listening.
No, that's very important. I agree. That sounds
It's called
delicious.
Skep O'Donnell.
But yeah, for the most part, nothing much. Just I know truck-based SUVs. That's the reason why I was listing all the Toyotas off for Sora.
Yeah, those are actually good options.
Mind you, I would be just to be forewarned because I'm not buying a car after 2025. Don't buy a car in North America after 2025 because they all follow America, and 2025 is when if they get it pushed through that the new automatic braking system will now be standard on cars.
No.
And how about the remote shutoff system?
Oh boy, you can go fuck yourself on that one. Just like,
And this is why the used car market
Exactly.
is so horrible. Why we can't get stuff.
Yeah.
well, and that's kind of
Nobody
the thing
wants
is
these.
Well, it's like 20. I don't mind a backup camera. The thing that
Yeah.
Obama did in 2015, don't mind. That's fine. Go for it. Everything else, don't need it. Not the biggest fan of push key, but there's some cars that are going back to keys. So who knows?
They should just use your phone as a key. That's a joke.
Yeah,
I don't mean that.
No,
I-
no.
I-
You say it's a joke.
It is
You
a
say
joke.
it's a joke. However,
I
Mercedes has an app you can put on
Yep.
your phone.
I don't
so does
care.
Tesla. So does
And
Tesla.
then, as
Don't
you
wanna
get,
know.
get ready, you can just start your
Stop,
car. You can have
Sora!
it search
Stop
engine
this
for you. You can have
now.
all the stuff.
Mercedes has one, Chevy has one,
No.
Tesla has one. But Tesla was the one who started it, and I was like, "Thanks, Elon. Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
terrible.
a free app on the Apple Store because that's secure and safe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, Chevy had a problem with that a few years ago, where people were using it to break into cars because they would download the app and then wait for someone to get near, and they would code the app at the same time when they were locking the
No,
car.
be careful because we can. The AI might hear what we're saying and decide to nuke us. Well, no, I mean, just they might misinterpret because we're not saying anything wrong, but we're on the edge of something wrong.
Yes.
What?
Um,
We don't
why
wanna
are we
talk about
relying?
that.
Why are we relying on this technology when it just fails so frequently? It
Well,
just
well-
fails.
We're
Well,
dumb.
the thing is, the remote start via the app doesn't actually fail that often. It's just it makes it easier for some people who know their technology to possibly get in your car.
Yeah, via reasons that we won't talk about.
Yeah. But like I said, Toyota and Honda seem to be putting their butts in the sand a little bit on that kind of stuff because they still refuse.
Thank God.
But Toyota and Honda, Sora, if you're looking for a truck-based SUV body, those who you have to go for
Yes.
is Toyota.
Good. So I think we
Okay.
haven't
No,
spoken
no, it's-
to
that's what
Functional.
I-
Functional is the only person we haven't gotten to yet. Isn't that true? We talked to
Last
Skep,
time-
I think.
Did we?
Did we?
Not really.
I don't think
Okay.
But every single person who confuses correlation and causation ends up dying.
Yeah, it's true.
Just gonna say that.
All mushrooms are edible. Some mushrooms are only edible once.
Fun with logic.
I've never heard that one.
It's a Terry Pratchett quote.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that.
Good job, Terry Pratchett. There was a show I saw once, Skep, which was an adaptation of a Terry Pratchett story called Going Postal, and it was
I know that.
it was that Coyle guy, Claire Foy, Manuel Sachs from Faulty Towers was in it. It was like the last thing he was in, and he was in it, and it was so much fun. That was a great adaptation of Going Postal, Terry Pratchett's thing, live action. That was actually really a fun little show. If you ever get a chance to see that, I recommend it.
Yeah, I'm just making a note right here.
Richard Coyle, I think, is his name.
Richard Coyle. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah. I'll check that out.
yeah. No, it's really good. Manuel Sachs. I was watching that and I was like, that face looks awfully familiar, yet
Familiar,
somehow
right.
not familiar. And it was extremely distracting. I'm trying to enjoy the show, and I was like, holy crap, that's Manuel. That was fun. So how are you doing, Skep, in terms of the weather in the great state of Texas? You're not in Houston, so at least that is good.
Yeah, we're not. We've had a little bit of flooding. It's not really been that bad. We've had a lot of rain. I mean, I have mushrooms growing in my yard.
Oh,
I have mushrooms in Texas. No, that doesn't happen.
fantastic.
That
That's really
just
cool.
doesn't happen. Yeah, our reservoirs are full. The drought area of Texas has shrunk to its, smallest area in probably 30 years.
Your aquifers
This
are the
year.
problem, Skep, not your reservoirs.
Yeah. Well, the reservoirs have been a problem, and they are full. They're releasing water now. Anyway, so we've had about all the rain we can stand. On the other hand, the potatoes matured magnificently. We have a couple of bushels of potatoes from the first harvest. We've replanted the second harvest. Blackberries are coming in big, beautiful, delicious, promising, reddening berries. It's really cool to see.
Mhm.
the snow peas we've done the first harvest, other harvest tomorrow, and that should get the rest of them off the vine, and then a week of snapping peas. That's how long it takes to get them all shelled. But then you've got peas until the cows come home.
Delicious.
Oh, good.
And you can dry them, and they basically will keep forever. So anyway, I've been doing a lot of harvesting of food, driving of kids to various things. It's been a very active time with some of the grandkids with whom we have some interesting challenges from time to time, and I'll just leave that there. But that's been time-consuming, interesting, and keeping me active. All this is keeping me young, don't you see?
Can you imagine waking up in the morning and not having anything to do? Would there be anything worse than
I'll
that?
kill myself.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Why would you?
Why am I here?
Eat? Right. Why eat? Why drink? Why walk down the street? You know, what is the purpose of your life? Now, that's a really good point. Is, you know, I don't have a regular work job anymore, and taking care of kids, farming, and getting a couple 3 hours to practice the guitar every day. That's my life.
Yep. Every now and then, expose yourself
and
to
I'm
the.
digging it.
Every now and then, expose yourself to the tender mercies of the VA health system.
Yeah. That's
Have they gotten any better?
No. The problem is that they keep hiring administrative staff. They don't hire more providers, and the providers that they hire are not doctors. They tend to hire physician assistants who have had 4 jobs in 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
and who are of groups that we all agree need more representation in the professions. We all agree to that, right? We all agree certain
Yes.
groups need more diversity is our strength. We agree to that, right?
Screw your natural
Yes.
your natural proclivities for what you want to do as a person.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So you get these PAs in there who, the day that they graduated from PA school, that was their peak. That was as good as they ever got. And they just heaved a sigh of relief and gave up on everything, because that was as far as they could hold their breath. There were no more tutors to deal with, no more people taking exams for them. No more, they're practicing medicine, and they're your doctor.
They're like factory-made croissants.
Yes, exactly.
As soon as the truck starts rolling, it's all downhill.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything worse than a like one of those shelf-stable supermarket croissants? It's just like, why?
No.
I mean,
Don't you
The thing
go?
is, with those, right? You
Yeah.
can make a good bread pudding, because it's basically terrible sweet bread.
you can get brioche
Not a
and make a bread
croissant.
pudding, which is much better than a croissant
I'm
for
gonna
that.
hurt both of you.
Yes.
What? Why?
They make really good ones at Sam's Club. And I like 'em.
Okay.
I will believe you, because I've never had Sam's Club.
I know. I'm picking.
You know what?
They're
What
good.
they actually, if you use them for savory things, they're better. Like if you make like a croissant sandwich with like, meat and cheese and all that sort of stuff.
Yes,
They're
much
actually
better for savory.
that
Yep.
actually they get new life. But as a sweet thing, I really don't like
I don't
the
dig a
supermarket
croissant.
ones, because they their quality just drops off. And if it doesn't, they're doing some weird voodoo that scares me.
I put butter on them, and then put homemade preserves on them.
Well, I'll fix anything.
So
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Or honey, local honey.
That's
Local
what-
honey's good. Local honey's really good.
Well, it's like people say, "There's your problem. There's your success." It's like, okay.
Well, I eat them straight. I eat them plain too. So that's
Johnny
not-
Blaze is calling it surrender bread. Actually, croissants originally are
They're Danish or something like
no. They're Austrian.
that. Austrian. That's what it was.
They're Austrian, and for people who aren't fans of the Aloha snack bar people, they were made to commemorate the loss of. What was it, the Turkish troops going
Yeah.
against the Austrians? It's like, we beat you so
Shaped.
badly, we decided to make a dessert in the shape of part of your flag and then eat it.
Frosted Glass said, I
that's-
have a thought somewhere Sanguine is feeling
It's a
disturbance in
spite
the
dessert.
force.
Yeah, that's utterly Teutonic, isn't it? That's utterly German to do that.
Assassin is saying the croissants were invented to celebrate the victory over the Muslim invaders besieging Vienna.
Oh, is the Muslims? Oh, wasn't sure which group of Muslims it was, but yeah,
Well,
they
the
lost.
Muslims were.
they lost
What
badly.
nationality were the Muslims that year?
I just call them Saracens and call it a day. It's
Yeah.
just I can't keep track.
I'd say they were from east yonder, but anyway.
Hey, they lost.
The thing I love though
Now
is
your
the fact
flag's
that
edible. Ah.
people talk about American cuisine being from everywhere. The French are worse than us because nothing they have is theirs.
Well, it does well with This Week in
Snails.
Spite because I mean we were talking about
Yeah.
spite, right? That's in the thumbnail. So it's like a dessert that's a spite dessert. It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you, Marie Antoinette, for taking that to France. Not sure that's 100% true, but
I think that all foods should be based on spite from now on.
yeah. Well, on that topic, hi, Functional.
Hi.
That's
And
almost a
you know what
seamless thing for you talking about food and spite. It's like
Well, you know what croissants don't suck? Mine. Because this is why before the show I exclaimed in great terror, like a little girl, is because I've been a chef for so long, you build up callus on your hands. So for temperature, I still have very good tactile senses, but the temperature change, it takes a while. So as I was checking on my croissants, which I'll get to in a moment, I put my fist in the cast iron skillet that I was just using to cook the bacon and the sausage. So I've got a nice big welt on my knuckles and fingers right now.
yeah, that's
I
terrible.
would
hurting.
recommend that.
So what I did, Harry,
You're gonna want
is
an ointment.
I made some pizza dough earlier,
Okay.
and I'm what? Go away! I'm talking. I made pizza dough croissants, air quotes croissants. So they look like croissants, but stuffed inside is bacon and sausage.
That would be good. So,
We'll see. We'll see. They're cooling right now.
hey, calzones, strombolis, all that stuff. You start wrapping dough around meat and cheese and baking it. I'm all in.
Yeah, really. I mean, I've got this new recipe dough from this place in Montreal that my brother swore by. My brother-in-law's from Montreal. And I was like, okay, I'll check him out. And I found the recipe, and I'm like, oh, wow, time to make this at home. And oh my God, I am never going back to any other recipe for this type of thicker sort of pizza dough, because it is delicious and it is airy and light.
Well, you need to share this recipe with me after the show because I collect such things. I'd be interested in seeing what's in your pizza dough. But while I have you and have your attention, California says restaurants must bake all of their add-on fees into menu prices. Something that's been happening here and maybe happening where you are. Restaurants are adding all these weird surcharges like, oh, we're going to add this surcharge to pay for this legislation that went through, or this is to pay for health insurance for our people. So there'll be the bill, and then there's all this extra crap at the end, like you're buying a new car, where they charge you for the undercoating and all this other stuff. And then your actual bill ends up being bigger. And so the state of California has actually done something which I think is kind of sensible, saying, no, you have to actually bake those extra charges into what you charge people for their food and stop this add-on sticker thing. The only thing that I think is bad about this is it doesn't show you where the blame is, right? So if there's a bunch of external things that are costing them a lot of money and they single them out as surcharges, then you sort of know why your meal is so expensive. If you bake the charges in, then it hides where all that stuff is coming from.
Can I just note the hypocrisy here that the government doesn't want us to wants us to see all the hidden surcharges that other companies are doing and not them?
You know what we're not going to talk about? Payroll tax. But anyway, Functional, how do you feel about this topic?
They,
And then we'll go back to
already
Jack.
roll it in here because everything's controlled by the government in the glorious People's Republic of Kanakistan.
Because I hate those surcharges so much because I feel like I've been lied to.
Well, and you are, because like even if you did the base calculations for, okay, here's our overhead for, you know, the basics, employment and the labor and the actual cost of the items that go into a dish, you still look at it and you go, that's not even anywhere remotely close. And then once you become a little bit higher up and you see where all these additional costs onto the restaurant that are all government levy, they're all government levy. So you want to place your focus your ire at somebody, you know who it is. You just don't know specifically. Oh, it's the Department of the Environmental Protection Agency or whatever. It doesn't matter because all three fucking levels of government get their grubby little fingers in it and make everything cost more. And most of all into places like, because it's been the big target for legislators recently, both down there and up here, to, you know, do this like $20 minimum wage and everybody deserves a living wage and blah 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 blah, and tipping this, and you see exactly how much it is, even on top of the fact that here we pay like, you know, 40% of our income to like pay for stupid healthcare reasons, and air quotes healthcare. You still are left with like this huge disparity of what am I paying for?
Yeah.
And of course, Jack, government doesn't want you to know that it's the municipal government charging you this much, the federal charging you this much, and then your state or provincial government charging you this much. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter because they're all bastards. They all do it.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. So, Jack, did you want a piece of this? You sounded like you had an opinion.
Getting me started early.
Oh, well, you mean about
this particular topic? Because I'll give you a different topic if you don't want this one.
I'm curious what's behind door number 2.
Well, you're buying. Are you going to buy a gasoline car?
Oh shit! No.
Or are you going to buy an electric car?
No.
Because in California, they've decided California gas prices could spike 50 cents under climate offset idea.
Oh god!
They're actually in a state where we're already paying almost 60 cents a gallon in taxes for our gas. Okay. They want to throw another 50 cents on top of it.
What did you pay per gallon at your last fill up? What did you pay?
Well, let's see. I'm trying to remember. Oh, let's see. It was on the motorcycle. It was, I think, $5.89.
$2.95.
Wow.
Yeah,
I just realized something. I put super in my motorcycle and it doesn't need it. God, my memory is weird. I'm an idiot. Okay.
Oh, yeah. By the way, $2.95 was premium. That was high octane.
Yeah.
Gasoline. That was not regular.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in order to save the planet, these idiots have actually decided that what they want to do. And I got another one for you, Jack. So don't go anywhere.
Oh god.
So they want to actually raise it 47 cents, and then another more increases through 2046 to take it up to another basically $1.15 per gallon more.
What's the conversion of gallon to liter?
Roughly 4. It's about 3.8 liters to a gallon.
A liter is about like a quart.
Well, that was in Schoolhouse Rock. A liter, a little more than a quart.
Right.
We're still paying like twice as much for gas then.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we've done this before with Sora, where we've done the numbers.
Yeah. Gas in New
Right.
Hampshire is about $3.30 to $3.50 a gallon right now. So California is already pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's 3.78 liters to 1 gallon.
Okay. This war on energy is just, it's getting people killed, and it's only going to result in even more people getting killed. This is what you get when you get communists.
I'm curious, what economic benefits have any of these taxes provided the world so far?
Well, they use them to work on the
blind
roads and stuff. And they in no way, it's in a lockbox, so they can't use it for anything else. Ha 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 ha. No, no, that's mostly they just want to charge you a bunch of money so that they can hopefully make you not want to use a gasoline car. It's just punitive is all it is.
No, it's so they can launder money so that they can get rich.
So you're a millennial, Jack, right?
I was
Were you born in the 80s
I
or
am.
90s?
90s. I'm a millennial.
Before
You're a millennial.
96? Yeah, you're a millennial.
So apparently I've seen a number of studies where they're talking to Gen Z about their attitudes about various things. Gen Zs, more than any other generation, really like lying to their insurance companies. It's
And it comes to bite them in the ass, and then they get shocked when it does.
there's a number of these that I found where essentially Gen Z lies about a lot of things, but lying to your insurance company is a terrible idea because you'll go to make a claim and they'll say, "Yeah, I don't think so." Turns out you lied to us, which means we don't owe you shit. In fact, you owe us for all of the rates that you basically didn't pay. It's a terrible idea. Skep can attest to this. Lying to your insurance company is a bad idea. So the generation that entails, those aged 18 to 27 saw 42% admit to lying on insurance applications.
Applications, as in to get
Well, but
insurance?
that's what they state when they basically apply for the insurance. They lie on the application. The rate is based on
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's, like, are they just not admitting how many accidents they have? Like, that's what I want to know.
Gen X, by the way, Gen X comes in at 17% and baby boomers at 16%. It's about things like the mileage, where the car is parked typically, how they use it. It could be any number of things.
That's
So-
that's a dangerous game to play.
So basically, what you're
Yeah.
saying is that they're going to start jacking up the rates dependent on how old you are. Even
They already
more.
do that.
No, they're
Well,
just
they
going to
already
not.
do
They're
that,
just
but
going to
they're gonna
not
do
honor
even
the
more.
claims. Is what they're going to do. They're going to wait
Yeah.
for you to crash your car, and then they're going to
Yeah.
not pay you because you lied on the application.
Well,
Bingo.
yes, but say for example they aren't able to catch someone who lies on their application. It means that disproportionately they're going to see they're going to get less return on investment. The insurance company.
You can be
Which
assured
means
they're going to make a return on investment. Yeah.
Well, it also depends if these Gen Zers are stupid enough. Because if they have either the apps on their phone, which they most likely do, or the little dongle thing, the insurance company knows where you are. Because they're stupid enough to have those things. So it's like, they're just, I agree with Harry, they're just going to wait till they make a claim and go, well, you see, our data shows that you don't actually park there, that you actually drive this much, you go over the speed limit this much. So it's your fault. So not an act of God. You're on your own, sugar tits, and then just walk away from them.
So here's a follow up for you, Jack. Okay.
Why are you torturing me, Harry?
you showed up.
Okay. California is offering drivers money to test its alternative to the gas tax. So I've got this filed under just the tip. What they want to do is they've have a group of people, and they're paying them a little bit of money to participate in a mileage charge thing where they charge you tax by the mile instead of the gas tax at the pump.
Oh,
Doesn't that
God.
sound good? Don't you want the state of California keeping track of your mileage?
Harry, why do you live there?
Well, the next refinement of that will be they'll start tracking where you drive, and if you drive on places that are more environmentally sensitive, your rate will go up during that portion of the drive.
Yeah, now
They'll
that's
start adjusting it that way.
that's
That'll
thinking.
be really great.
Yeah, that'll
And
be great.
eventually, they'll start driving you there, and eventually, you'll just choose what uniform you're going to wear to the mine.
Isn't
that
it
point.
kind of amazing that all of these policies just pop up, and while they make no tangible difference to anyone's quality of life, they seem to all be obsessed with either charging you more money or gathering more information about your personal life.
Yeah, if you're not the
Because they-
customer, you're the product, and sometimes you're
Gen
both.
Z will do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
They know-
Except when
they-
you're both, right?
Gen Z has proven time and time again with TikTok and everything else that they don't care. If it means that they get to sit on their ass for 5 seconds longer, they don't give a shit. Because it
Hashtag
hasn't
not
been-
all, but too many.
Yeah, but I mean, let's face facts. Like, they all want 15-minute cities because they don't want to have to drive anywhere. Not because they want to walk to anywhere. Because they won't walk, because we all know they won't walk. It's because they want the delivery person to walk to them. That's the reason why they want to live in tiny little communities. They don't actually want to go outside. Like, and I say this as a video
Experience there.
gamer. I say this as a video gamer who isn't the biggest fan of outside, especially in the humid, coniferous rainforest of West Virginia that I live in. Like, but it's just they want people to bring them their food that's overcharged. They want to not have to deal with anything. They want their music instantaneously and still act like they know what audio music, how the audio for the music sounds, even though CD is the best version. All that stuff. Like, they don't want to have to do any of that stuff. And then they wonder why they get stuck. It's like a lot of the problem is that during COVID, when everything shut the F down, the coof, when everything shut the F down, they didn't learn from being stuck in their apartments in the big cities where they're basically just tiny little boxes. Because you had people, like, the suicide rate jumped, especially amongst the younger ones. Like, it went through the frackin' roof. And it's like they I don't want to use the word trauma dumped it, but they kind of like trauma locked it away. Like, they don't want to acknowledge the fact that maybe, just maybe, living in a big city and being able to be locked down tighter than a chastity belt during the Renaissance, like, isn't a bad thing. And that's the issue, because they just don't want to acknowledge it. Like, I hear complaints all the time, well, it's like, in Europe you can walk. I was like, yeah, but I don't like the walk. Like, if you live in a very temperate place like southern England or like the north of France or something like that, where it's really temperate, it's the same, or California, like, and it's really temperate and it's that way all the time, absolutely. Like, you don't get any strong weathers, you don't get any, that, yeah, walking's nice. We get to 112 in the summer or negative 12 in the winter around here. I don't want to walk, and I don't want to make anybody walk. It's just,
Yeah.
It's just like, there's an unwillingness to admit to the fact. I'm waiting for the bubble cities to get made. That's what I'm waiting for. Where we just live in little bubble cities like we did in the Resident Evil, like they did in the Resident Evil movie from years ago.
No, it's going to be like Fifth Element. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be terrible.
Although Judge Dredd would probably be interesting too, or Cyberpunk. That would be interesting. Just the giant.
Mega city towers.
Yeah.
I don't usually comment on on women's appearance that much, but I have to say that Diane Lane was just a shiny little bright penny in that movie with Sylvester Stallone as Judge Hershey, because she was just the cutest little thing. He's all freshly scrubbed and probably like 21.
And then the Carl Urban Judge Dredd movie came out, and it was like, yeah.
Carl Urban's pretty awesome. He does a hell of a good job.
Oh, Blade Runner too. Thank you, Frosted. Blade Runner.
I'm still holding on hope for the Star Trek future, because if you forget, they predicted the Bell riots, which was basically George Floyd into what's happening now and lockdowns and blah blah blah. But like, don't forget, like, World War III happened and they almost blew themselves up, and then they progressed. So I'm still hoping for that, because most of the people in the world are fucking stupid, and I wouldn't care.
I have something for you, Functional.
Uh-oh.
It's something nice. Well, I mean, I think it's nice. It's basically you're a Star Wars fan, right?
Sure.
Okay,
Maybe.
so this is called Star Askimation, and it's basically Star Wars done as an ASCII animation. It's the entire movie done using nothing but characters.
No way.
Yeah, here, let me advance a little bit.
See, he gets a fun little ASCII movie, and I get the government is screwing you over.
Yep, you do.
Because he's here every
hell?
week, unlike you.
Yeah,
This is very
there's one
cute.
set it for stun.
Dead to stud. Oh no.
This is awesome. I
Oh,
love
look
this.
at them.
But the entire movie as an ASCII animation.
About here.
There goes another
Yeah,
one.
hold your fire. Yeah, good
No
times.
life forms. I love that they say there's no life forms, and they that's a thing I always laughed at, because, like, do you guys forget what time period you're in? A jettisoned life craft. Oh, there's no life forms in there. What is like 90% of the automated things in your ships? Little droids that can collect like data. Silly.
Just imagine what a pain in the ass it would be to
movie.
put this together. It actually took this guy several years to create this.
I feel like he was going through a rough patch. And
Originally,
Thanks, America.
This oil bath is going to feel so good.
I think it's awesome that something like this exists.
Yeah, hell yeah.
very sweet.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope.
I want to know how many years it took them, because it says last seen added in 2015. Was
Yeah.
that like a 15-year thing? Like,
Well, the first copyright is 1997, and he originally put it together in Java.
Ha!
Here's a question: how much space does this take up?
Not a lot, actually. As a movie, it's quite efficient. But anyway, be that as it may, let's see. What else did we want to talk about?
We're going to talk about the blood on the painting.
Yeah, we were going to talk
what
about
you-
that. We can get this out of the way really quickly. So I saw this Massachusetts playground ranked among 10 best in country for inclusivity. How do you make an inclusive playground?
Oh,
You
does
make-
it have
you-
like
Yeah, wheelchair
Like-
accessible and
Yeah.
stuff.
Like special like swings for people in wheelchairs or something?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Yeah, and you make the slides this way they can get down them in a wheelchair, or if they have like the arm walker, the crutches.
That is a weird swing. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that swing sucks.
No, those swings are actually fun. I've been on
Yeah.
those swings; they're actually fun.
No, you've chains and then you have like a little strap of material and then you
Hey, Harry.
launch out of it.
all right, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Put the cane down.
What-
Wait. They put holes on this bench so little hands can get stuck in there and then and cry.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
poor thinking.
Yeah, that one's bad, but but they have a lot of the sound stuff. I've seen the sound stuff before. Oh, you can climb up the slide? Hell yeah!
That's
That's
cool.
that's what half of us did anyway.
I'm sorry,
neat,
but the
look at
slide is supposed to be at least 200 degrees. You're supposed to get burns as soon as you sit on.
Yeah,
the thing.
exactly.
No, those rollers are worse. Those rollers get, especially if they're metal, those get worse. Those are worse. Those
No, and
hurt.
you need what you need is you have to have like a splintered wood all over the place.
the mulch.
I think
Well,
this
but, like even the framing of this should be in wood that doesn't ever get treated and left in the.
I think this is meant for autism, people with autism, high on the autism spectrum.
okay,
So it's a
well
little
I'm
bit
I'm
safer.
happy being nice to those people, but I see an awful lot of adults demonstrating how this is supposed to work.
I think they're adults on the autism, like high on the autism spectrum, Harry. I think that's what it is.
Okay, well I'm the dick now. Fine.
Yeah.
But like I understand it's like I hope it's like different time periods that they're from
Yeah.
this time to this time the adults aged people.
Yeah. It's
Are those the swings that you like stand on and then you swing back and forth like the
Yep.
the orange things? Oh, those are fun.
I love those.
I hate
Those
everything
sweet-
about this.
It's very plastic. I agree.
The playground
but
is a
it
place
looks
where you
fun.
learn lessons about life. Like, don't be a doofus or you're going to scrape skin off your
Oh.
hands, you know.
What
Yeah.
what city is this
I-
again?
I think
This
it's
is near
Boston.
Boston.
Frosted.
Boston.
We gotta bring back the one where you fall and you break like every single tooth in your head.
Yeah. Monkey bars, no padding underneath them. Don't be a little bitch and fall. Yeah.
Jesus. Oh
Yep.
God. Well, I mean, if it means anything, it's in Massachusetts. The winter will destroy most of that.
Frosted asked, "What city is it in? Is it in Boston or is it in another?"
Yeah,
part of Mass?
that's
I believe it's, well, they had a map
map,
here a
I
moment
think.
ago. Let's see. Concord.
Concord.
It's in Concord.
Ah,
I parked my car in the Harvard yard.
Oh, Johnny was like, the spinning UFO thing was fun. You either fly off or kick your friends in the head.
Nice. Now, see, that's
Yeah.
what we need. We need Darwinism on the playground.
Well, that's what that orange thing is at the bottom. When you look at the big picture of the sky view of the playground,
Mm-hmm.
the orange thing is that disc thing he's talking
Oh.
about. But I love that type of swing right there. Is fun.
If you say so.
Especially if there's no children around, like no kids in the playground, and you're just there by yourself, it's fun to just like lean back on and just swing a little bit.
Do you remember like in the swings that you guys used to do bumper cars on the swings?
Oh yeah.
I miss
Go back and
swinging.
forth.
I think things are going to
Yeah.
happen in that park at late at
Oh,
night. That's-
absolutely.
I'm just,
Oh, yeah. No. That is painting is going to happen in that park. That's for sure.
yeah.
That swing's gonna be used for some things. I
That's
hope they frickin'
that
respect
swing
it.
is going to see things.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like those kids. I can't remember the name of these. They're basically giant building block foam toy things like you can make like forts and stuff out of.
Uh-huh.
That became exceedingly popular because basically adults use it for sexy times.
Oh, are you talking about the building blocks? Or are you talking about the couch, the little
It's like
kid couch?
it's like a couchy thing that comes in
Yeah,
like
yeah.
modules.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
The
so-
parents made
so-
like a Facebook group talking about all the stuff you could use the couch for, and it's like, oh God, I hope you clean it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're about to make an abrupt topic change here to healthcare. So there's a doctor. He was diagnosed with a glioblastoma, which is not a thing with a very high. It's a brain tumor with a not very high survival rate. Not something you want to get diagnosed with. But it turns out that because he's like, no, I'm not going to go softly into this good night. They went and found people who really knew what they were doing and did some genetic testing on this tumor and found that there was a way to essentially tailor his specific treatment to the specific tumor that he had. This is sort of the promise of individual medicine. And right now he's actually doing okay. Except for the fact that there's a number of pictures of him in this thing, and all of them, I think, have pictures of his wife in there too. It's like, why are you in all the pictures, his wife? I guess she's a newscaster, so she just can't handle not being in frame all the time.
Exactly.
I'm
Also
so
the one
annoyed.
probably taking all the pictures.
Yeah, that's a person who is very, ego forward.
It reminds me of my high school yearbook. The person who was in charge of the yearbook when I graduated, for some strange reason, ended up in lots and lots and lots of pictures
In the yearbook.
in the yearbook. And,
yes.
And so
that happened in my high school too.
and at
That
the
happened at my high school also.
so at the rehearsal for the graduation ceremony, when she came up, everybody screamed "Miss Photogenic" at her, and she cried and went
Oh,
away.
That's
Aww.
all the people who were on
Sorry.
the staff of my high school yearbook ended up in that stupid yearbook.
Somebody just sent me a message. I hope it's not imaginary girlfriend telling me to behave. Okay, so, all right, so, yeah, but this is actually,
Lol.
this is
Crushed
actually,
it.
yeah, stab it. No, so it said her husband underwent some emergency surgery to remove the glioblastoma, followed by over 40 days of chemotherapy and radiation. Despite aggressive treatment, the cancer returned. That's when he was given this expiration date, and they told him he had 12 to 14 months to live. And he said, oh, heck no. So they sought a second opinion at Northwestern Medicine, where they said doctors discovered Adamski's tumor had specific gene mutations, one being SHEMP fusion, which might respond to treatments that target those exact mutations. The doctors performed methylation profiling as well as genetic testing, yada, yada, yada. Basically, they scienced the shit out of this guy's tumor and found a unique and specific way to kill it. This is what we want for everybody, not just the doctor who knows who to ask and has the connections. I'm hoping that in 10 years, this is like commonplace, not like a heroic thing they did to save one guy.
Yeah, this thing is a heart transplant. It's just not a workable solution across the board. But you're right. If they could find a way to mass produce a methodology basically to do this.
Well, that's what was
That's
so annoying about the pandemic, or plandemic, if you prefer. The idea that public health officials, not your doctor, many cases not even doctors, would make these things like, no, here's a medical condition, we treat it one and only one way. There is no room for you and your doctor to figure out what the correct health care is for you, because as a
That's the
public health
insurance
official, we're
companies.
going to just do it one way.
No, that's the legal profession, and the health insurance companies have kind of backed the doctors into that. They have taken a lot of discretion away from the doctors. That's my perception.
Well, too much in my opinion. And yeah, there are bad doctors in the world, but just like there's bad parents, but I'd rather the parents
I agree.
decide than the government.
I
Typically.
would rather trust a doctor than trust the government. I would rather trust a doctor than trust an insurance company.
Is there anyone that a reasonable person would trust less than the government?
I don't know, but actually, I have a discussion question, which I think I was debating whether I was going to pull this one in, but I think it relates to what we're talking about right now. So, Skep, I was thinking about this: the difference between a skeptic, a cynic, and a contrarian. in your opinion, where do you
the
sort of draw
sentence-
the line between those three?
Okay. A cynic is, cynicism is a reaction. It's, it's situational. It's kind of like it's almost an emotion more than it is a practice. To practice true cynicism is to delude yourself, because there are good things in the world. So, the idealistic, the Platonic ideal of cynicism is stupid. But so skepticism suits me because I'm always asking why or how, and I usually know what, but the things that I want to know are why and how, and those. It's useful to have a skeptical attitude in inquiring all the processes that humans engage in to understand their motivations, which is one of the prime drivers of why the way I live, what I live for, is to understand people better.
And what about
Understand what we're doing.
contrarians?
Contrarians are frequently the result of that. It's something you change into. You don't start out as a contrarian. Contrarians get there because of some sort of disillusion thing that happens to them, I believe, and to always be contrary to the conventional wisdom, I guess is the best way to define that, is to be irrational, in my opinion. So once again, that's not a useful thing, except pursuing contrarian market strategies. When I was a stockbroker at Merrill Lynch, I actually did a lot of contrarian type of investing. That
As
was
do
the most
I.
successful. Yeah, those buy the things that people are dumping, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's because that's when the price goes down. That's how this works.
Well, I mean,
No, they're all selling it. Look at the price; it's going way down. Yeah,
but we've all. I think anybody who's been paying attention has turned into a pretty cynical bunch, right? We've seen all the stuff that's happened over the last 4 years. It's really hard not to be cynical when the government
it's
lies to you as
easy.
much as it does.
it is easy to allow the cynical impulse to take over, but refresh your idealism, stay hopeful. Otherwise it'll just make you tired.
Well, because I was thinking about this. I was thinking, okay, so the government comes and they tell you a thing. They make some sort of proposition. Mm-hmm. Now, a cynic is going to be somebody who's just going to say, it doesn't matter what the government says, I'm not going to believe them. I mean, in the most extreme form. A skeptic is going to be somebody who's going to say, the government can't really be trusted. I need to figure out whether this is the one time in 1,000 that they're not lying to me.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what the skeptic does. And the contrarian's just like, well, whatever the government tells me has got to be wrong, so I'm going to do the opposite anyway.
Right.
But if you look at our chat, when I talk about a lot of these things, and us, we're all way more cynical, I think, than we were 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because in some way it means we've sort of grown up. But it's hard to stay skeptical in a world where everything tells you being cynical is just the easier thing to do and nearly always right.
Well, hold on.
I refuse to be cynical.
Well, no, I think that it's a matter of who is incentivized to tell the truth and who is incentivized to lie, which is why I believe that you should believe in individual human beings and not in letter agencies, and not in people who get all of their clout from letter agencies. I
believe, like, if somebody tells me something and I know, if I have first or even secondhand information, I believe that more than what the government tells me. Because far too often it's like, am I going to believe my own eyes or what I'm being told? And so if I have firsthand experience, I'm going to weight that more heavily than somebody just asserting something.
Because I think that three-letter agencies and so on and so forth, they are incentivized to lie because they are more interested in power than telling the truth.
Yep.
Whereas an individual alternatively, who knows me personally, doesn't want to just try and control me as a general rule. Not, there are some, I'm sure, but
Looking
you know
good,
what
Jack.
I mean. What?
But the issue is that, as we've kind of stated, is that most humans are stupid. Like, we've seen, like, COVID showed on more than one level how stupid people can be. Like, and that's the issue. Like, even just the Summer of Love showed the blind following of that people do. And that's the issue, is that, well, I understand what you're saying. At the same time, I kind of don't fault them for lying, because most people can't. I'm going to quote the fucking movie. Can't handle the truth. They can't even handle the half truth 90% of the time, or they're unwilling to look into anything past the half truth. Like, how many people still believe Alex Jones was right about most things? Of course they do, because they don't want to look into most of the things that he was talking about, because most of the stuff he was talking out the side of his head about.
Yeah.
And that's the issue, is that, do I want to be lied to? No, I don't. But at the same time, I recognize human nature enough to know that there's people who it wouldn't matter if you were the most transparent, truthful. Didn't matter. It wouldn't matter if these agencies gave you an itemized list down to the half cent. People wouldn't believe them. It wouldn't matter. And people would be contrarian and skeptic. And there's nothing wrong with being skeptical, but they would be contrarian for the sheer purpose of being contrarian, because they can make money doing it. It's the whole fact of everything. Like, people are stupid. I understand the reason why we don't have itemized federal government bills for everything, because there's some stuff we have to keep secret, and if you give it to the normal people, your enemies are going to find out, and then we're all screwed, because they'll just use it to go against us and then wipe us all out or put us in danger and hurt. Hey, Gio. And that's kind of the thing. It's finding, I'm going to quote Buddha as well, it's finding the middle path. It's understanding, like, what's the agency that you say everybody's scared of, Harry, in the government?
I don't know. There's so many. IRS is the first one.
Well, IA or something like that. Not internal affairs. What, the one that oversees the government?
Oh, the Inspector General.
Thank you. Like,
Yeah, the IG.
Like, we need more Inspector General and that kind of stuff. That's and we need that, but at the same time, is like, it's like the reason why communism will never work and socialism will never work, because it never goes on based on the fact that there are evil people out there who will be greedy little pieces of crap. And all you can do is try to create an oversight and have someone watch their butt and hope for the best. Because human beings, by their very nature, are greedy, lustful, prideful assholes.
Yeah.
Said somebody who is totally nuts.
And Geodes, who's totally not any of those things, right, Geodes?
Yeah, totally. No, I can't stay too long, but I was going to chime in just real fast.
So this is just a drive-by, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, drive by you, jackwagon.
Yeah. No, because I heard the whole thing of, like, cynical and skeptic and everything, and I will say that another take would be realist. Was kind of the one I was thinking of, where it's like it kind of depends on your definition, but the way I'd see it is, I'm like, you can kind of acknowledge that things are kind of terrible right now, but at the same time you can also kind of look at it and be like, well, my life is okay. You know, I've got this thing going for me. I've got this thing going for me. I need to stay on my toes, but
That's me.
We're good right now. So
I'm with you there, Geodes. I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's like, I as Johnny put it, people are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and everybody knows it.
Yeah. Other than investing, the contrarian is the one that sort of confuses me the most. I've met a few of them, and they're usually people that just enjoy sophistry, or they just like debating for the sake of debating. Like, I knew this guy named Andy, smart dude, but he would argue about anything. You could take any position, and he would just defend the opposite one, because he just loved arguing all the time. And I can't figure out if he's if that's one of the easiest ways to be a time wasting moron, to just put your foot down and just argue with people for the sake of arguing.
I'm right here. I resemble that remark. I do that all the time.
You don't do it that much.
No, I don't do it. I don't do it for the sake of being contrarian. I do it for the sake of the exercise. So, if somebody wants to have a discussion or debate a topic that, say, we're both in favor of, we're both on the side of we favor this thing. I will be like, okay, well, I'll just as an exercise, I'll take it and I'll try to steel man the argument and play the other side because it's fun to do for me. It's a good exercise. It's something that I naturally do is try to put my brain into the other person. Like, yes, even with people like I was watching the what was that Netflix serial killer thing that just came out like 2 years ago?
The Jeffrey Dahmer thing? Yeah, Dahmer.
Like
yeah.
even something as egregious as the Dahmer case, which I know the actual case, not the Netflix thing, but I'm taking that as the example. Like there's some things that are just portrayed that you can't get in the mind of, but for say something else, take who's someone else that's really, really evil? Oh, I don't know, Justin Trudeau. I can put myself in his shoes and realize why he's so fucking evil. It's because he's greedy. It's very simple. Somebody like that is just very greedy.
And possibly a tiny bit horny.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, his wife left him, so I mean. You know.
I mean, that would rely on him liking women.
Is he gay? Is he gay?
I think he's gay.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, that's
when the
pretty
mood
much the
suits him.
consensus is that he's gay, right? He's consensus gay.
What I can't remember who said it, who told me. It was like the consensus is that his wife's a lesbian and he's gay, and they basically just used each other.
Male
I think it was
drama
you, Sora.
teacher.
I feel like you.
Allegedly.
I've said that before. That's like the whispered.
I mean,
but that sounds like kind of the nasty kind of thing that people will say, but it does seem possible. I mean, why not?
He seems totally self-indulgent. He seems like just kind of a midwit loser.
Well, he's certainly a faggot, but I mean, he's gay, and I know enough. I know enough gay people to know that there are enough of them that are. How can I put this? They don't say no to women. They just prefer men, like entirely, like on that level. But they won't say no to a woman if a woman's coming on to like a decent enough looking woman is coming onto them, and they'll also be like handsy and grabby with their girlfriends, you know. And something that a normal person would look at and be like, that's kind of a little inappropriate, don't you think?
So they're level 5 on the Kinsey scale, is what you're saying.
Sure. Yeah.
That's predominantly homosexual.
But I think
heterosexual.
I think that's who he is.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, none of it matters because all that matters is the evil that you do, the action you do. It just even though I can still get myself into somebody like that's mind and brain and try to put myself in their shoes and figure out why they're doing the things they are. I do that. This is why I love movies so much, is because I will intentionally try to be like, yeah, I want to get in the mind of He Who Shall Not Be Named or Darth Vader or Tony Montana. Like, these are not good people, but I want to get in the mind of them. I want to understand them. I'm still on the side of, Luke Skywalker and not being Tony Montana. But the drugs are fine. The mass murder, that's where I draw the line.
Well, it's the kind of, to go to the movies, and I'll leave you alone, Harry. Sorry, but it's like it was the thing that people didn't understand about. There were two camps with the appeal of Loki. There were the people who were like, "Oh my God, he's hot," and then there were people, which I personally was, which was, I can identify and understand the reason why he turned out the way he did. Mm-hmm. That's why I like him. It's because I understand why he is the way he is.
And you can still recognize the bad that he did as being bad.
Yeah, and that's what made him an appeal, not the redemption, because he never got a redemption arc, which is the really weird thing that his character kind of tipped off the redemption arc of villains bull crap that we see a lot now.
Well, yes, he did, because he did in the eyes of his brother when he sacrificed himself, and then with the whole TV show, he kind of does. He
does, but he earns it in the TV show.
I mean, it was a nice way to retire a character that the actor has grown way too big for, if we're being honest. And it's good for him to want to move on to do other things because he's such a talented actor. And from what I've seen on things like what's that English show?
That's like 5,000 of them. You gotta be slightly
the really famous one where he gets like a panel of like superstars on.
Graham Norton.
Norton, yeah. where you know, like even in interviews like that, like I
It
mean,
still
just
doesn't
like,
narrow it down that much. I don't know how that game worked.
It's the biggest one that everyone outside, because no one likes Jonathan Ross.
who the hell's Jonathan Ross?
That's see, there we go.
He's a TV presenter in Britain.
Yeah.
He's probably
Like,
most
everybody
famous
knows
in
him.
America for being the presenter on Penn and Teller's Fools for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, him. Okay. Yeah.
English
I
guy.
don't hate him in that.
No, he was fine.
But there's
Well,
just
no,
some of these dudes who who I can see, like him, Keanu, like even though a lot of them, the vast majority put on airs and a show to be presentable to the rest of us, to seem like normal human beings. Some of them you're kind of like, yeah, this guy probably, or this woman probably is just a normal human being who's in a really shitty industry. Sorry,
But
go
yeah.
ahead, Jack. Or
Well, we
whoever
need to move on to some other things. I want Skep, since you're here, can you use your skepticism to look at this story? Pro-Palestinian activists take over building near Berkeley's People's Park. Now, here's a picture of the
Taking a picture,
pro-Palestinian activists. Are you getting the feeling that maybe this isn't really about Palestine?
Antifa 2.0.
Yeah.
'Cause-
This is just what you're seeing is a conglomeration. This is not a mixing of people. This is a conglomeration of clumps of people. So this is like a dirt clod that's wadded together, that's packed together, and it won't stay together very well when it gets thrown.
This is like a weird, like you said, conglomeration of sort of squatters, people that don't want People's Park to come in, people who just hate the establishment,
Exactly.
all sort of
Leftists,
simultaneously.
anarchists,
So they've
anybody with a gripe.
taken
it's
over
Occupy Wall
this.
Street?
So they've taken these darkly complected people have taken over this house in Berkeley. Well, this building in Berkeley, which is right by People's Park, and they're claiming that it's really about Palestine. This feels like cover to me. Like they're
It is.
pretending it's about Palestine, but it's really about, well, we just want to take this property because fuck the establishment.
This is our way of life, and this is part of our way of life is justifying our way of life through protesting whatever's protestable right now.
Because I don't feel like this is a Palestine demonstration. I feel like this
the way
is
they
something
live.
else.
It's a way of life. This is a way of life. This is static, and it's been static in Berkeley for a very, very long time.
And I admit, I think we're being cynical, by the way. I always try to be skeptical, but at this point, it's just like all I got left is cynicism. When I look at something like this, it's like I know there's a possibility this is legitimate, but it just feels like something else. That's what my gut's telling me.
Show me the counter. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can be unfair and make snap judgments, but the rest of everybody else does it. Why can't I do it?
I mean, the thing is that we've seen this so many times before where like first of all, the left has strange bedfellows all the time. I mean, just look at like Muslims in England with they mix all of these groups together, and they don't really do any vetting on the process. They just defend everyone vigorously and say that if you don't appreciate these people who are probably just squatters or something, then you're racist.
Richard Head is saying Napalm People's Park. Well, that would be a solution of all the possible solutions. I don't know. Have you actually been to People's Park, Richard? I know there's enough delay that makes it hard to have a conversation, but I still remember when I was considering attending UC Berkeley, I actually spent time with a friend who was going to school there. So I spent 2 weeks living in a really terrible place. It wasn't one of the official dorms with my friend, and sat in on classes, and I did my due diligence, okay? And I decided that if I actually went to UC Berkeley, I would slit my wrists. I was not kidding. I was concerned, not hyperbole, actually. I knew that my soul would die, and I would die along with it if I attended that school. It was just not going to happen.
Good call, Harry.
Just because I mean, it's just this terrible thing. And the first time I walked by People's Park, it was just the saddest thing, just these sad people strung out on drugs, and it's nothing compared to what it is now. But even back then, you know, a long time ago, it was just the worst thing. So yes, let's just clean it all with fire. Not actually YouTube. Metaphorically, let's cleanse it with fire because it's terrible.
What is this thing? What is this is for hind? What does that mean? Does anybody know what that means?
What? Who? What? Huh?
On the glass, it says this is. I guess it's a 4.
I don't know. Hino?
This is for our hind. This our house is for.
I have no idea. It's so weird. Anyway, that's what distracted me.
It's
Go on.
stupid. And
This
People's
R
Park
is
is trash.
for
And
hind.
this is just showing you that as hard as I try to be skeptical, it's hard not to be cynical, because I look at this thing and I look at this picture and go, maybe these people are completely honest, but I get the feeling this has nothing to do with Palestine. That's just what my gut's
All
telling
I know
me.
is that America, with all of these protests, like groups and stuff, has an excellent opportunity to try out some biological warfare in a contained, semi-contained space.
Jeez.
That's what undergraduates are
not
for,
doing it.
Sora.
I would
Here
ju-
we go.
I
Here
would
we
just
go.
like I would just like to point out that Kent State did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Here,
This-
have a flower. Yeah.
This stuff is really amazing to me because these are normally contrarians are very isolated to themselves, and they found some way, whoever they are, to get these born contrarians together, to be contrarians in a group together.
Damn you, Reddit.
It's both amazing. It boggles my mind because at the end of the day, yes, they are people, even though colloquially they're not really people. They're fucking scum of the earth. They're still human beings. So to be able to like get these normally isolationist contrarian type people together to be contrarian together, that's some fucking mind work there.
Would
Even
you
though, eradicate them all.
would you
Like,
would you
all
would
the-
you
all
like
the
a would you
border
guys like a
systems.
palate cleanser?
Do it.
Sure.
I have such a beautiful palate cleanser for
No.
you because it makes me
Yay.
look better. You know
No.
how I call everybody Shemp if I have trouble pronouncing their name, because
Yes.
Yes.
I would rather just say Shemp than doing it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you're gonna
Oh,
love this.
God.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Announcer of
Oh,
Flub's common student names
no.
at Thomas Jefferson University graduation.
Oh, I've seen this. Oh,
Years
Jesus.
for your school graduation day, and
The
this
cringe.
happens.
The cringe.
Sire Uvun Jinju Brinon. Victoria Lee Zubeth Ross.
Elizabeth.
Marlena Zobeth Camp.
What?
What?
She's
doesn't
giving
read
like
it.
Was she given another
She
list?
doesn't speak English. She's just reading it phonetically.
No, is this
that's
some
what-
sort of
No, that's a
personal?
person who does not read English very well. It's that one.
Yeah, this
That's
is
what
great.
that is.
Shemp, Shemp, Shemp.
Donald May.
This is library.
Can you?
Is that on purpose?
What the heck happened there? It happened.
This is someone who used to work at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel
I'm
that I feel
7-Eleven.
that I'm doing a great job by comparison.
I'm putting on my cynicism hat for a moment, if you don't mind, and say that this is an activist. I think
Is she
this is an activist.
decolonizing their names by pronouncing them in Swahili or something?
You know how every time these same people complain about like, oh well, why can't you pronounce these names in a totally different language that we're not familiar with? This is their way of mispronouncing
Assassin,
our names.
Oh,
Assassin's
no.
kind of agreeing with you.
Oh,
Yeah, I
no.
can see that.
Apparently, it was all their names were written phonetically on the speaker's cards.
Oh my god.
And it was literally like they have an example of it. They
Why?
wrote Sarah Virginia Brennan. That's how we say it.
Yeah.
That's why.
The way
That's
they-
why I said she was reading them phonetically. That's why.
Yeah,
I
you were
said-
right. You were
that's why I
absolutely
said-
right.
It's still
but this
terrible.
is how they wrote.
But
No,
wow.
but this is how they wrote it. Sayer Uvon Gingo Brennan. I'm not kidding. That is the examples they're showing.
Can
Maeve
those
Elizabeth-
students like ask for their money
I'd
back?
sue.
Or, like, so So for anything they had to put, so the cost of the cap, the gown, the tickets for their family members they'd have to pay to come to see their graduation, all of that money should be reimbursed back. Because can you imagine, it's a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, this girl, Molly, for maybe 5 years if they have to do
Bust your
placement
ass.
for nursing, something
Busting
like
her
that.
ass.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you're waiting, you know, your parents are filming. Maybe you have family members who cannot afford, or she cannot afford to help them come to that. So they're watching TV or this recording, and this is what comes on. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's just, and especially, isn't this, is this the year? These are the year of, like, if she had graduated high school in 2020, she wouldn't have had a graduation because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So this may be her first, like, actual, like, walking with a cap and gown, a proper graduation, and this happens. Like, I feel for all these students. This sucks.
Well, I just thought it
on.
was funny, and now it turns into this tragic thing. I hadn't even thought of it that way because I don't care
it's
enough
funny
about
until you
humans,
realize,
unfortunately.
like, it
Well,
sucks for everybody.
They were scrambling to find someone else to do it until the L's, and then they ripped that speaker off of the podium, basically, and
Wow.
then put another one up. That's what the Today article says.
Amazing. Well,
boy.
how about this then?
Boy, boy.
Oh, it was the College of Nursing too.
Jonathan Yo's portrait of Charles III review, a formulaic bit of facile flattery. For some reason, this is King Charles's first official portrait, and it looks like that. Maybe I'm just not enlightened
How about
enough to
no?
understand why this is awesome.
No.
It has a
There's the
monarch
perspective.
butterfly in it,
There-
which is
the
kind of
perspective
cool, I
is
suppose. There's the monarch butterfly
The-
right there.
It's utterly
The
flat.
The face is not bad, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty
But-
bad.
But the lack of anything else with the same level of definition makes it look
Yeah.
flat. It makes the whole picture look flat. It
it's
looks like a
unfinished.
picture of a. It looks like a picture of a picture.
Mhm.
Yeah, it does look unfinished. I agree with you.
Because when you said flatness, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like
Yeah.
he just outlined. Because some people paint with, like, they'll put a contrasting base down to
Mhm.
help with, like, the
Yeah.
blending of colors, and then and he forgot that he was painting this and got the head and the hands were the only thing that came through.
Well, like
Oh.
he has a website, and he actually did a portrait of His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, and it's actually better than Charles's if you look at it. I put it in side
Yeah.
chat, Harry, but his stuff is a little weird.
Who's the famous
Uh,
portrait painter? I think it begins with an R, and it's not Boldoni. It was basically the guy who was more popular than Boldoni for portraits. I cannot remember his name during the time, and he did a bunch of your classic portraits of royalty and rich people in England for a long
Gainsborough?
time. No, it wasn't just Gainsborough, but there's a number of them. So we have hundreds of
Gainsborough.
years of artistic style for these types of paintings. And I guess Charles wanted something to make a big splash and be kind of, I guess 2024 is the year of the avant-garde picture of a king. It's not, avant-garde isn't even the right word. I'm not really sure what this is. It's more like pop art than something that you'd see as a royal portrait. It
Yo,
confuses
mental
me.
Cycle.
I have
Even-
I have a question. What do you think is worse, this or the Obama portrait?
I think that sculpture of Martin Luther King and Coretta King hugging is the worst.
Yeah.
That was by far the worst. Do you know the one I'm talking about? The one in Chicago?
The one that looks like
No, that's not Chicago. That's Boston.
Oh, was it Boston?
Yeah, I know because I
Drive your
live
car
near
there.
Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the video here when they did the big grand reveal. Even Charles, like, he visually jumps and he recoils in horror when he unveils the painting, and it's really, I don't think it's his fault. I don't think it's Charles's fault. I think well, I mean, he hired the guy, or somebody on his staff or whatever hired this so-called artist. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something.
Richard Stone. Is that the artist you were thinking of, Harry?
No,
No. No,
Thinking
no.
of JMW Turner, probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Turner. That's why I said he was contemporary of Boldoni. I find Boldoni's portraits to be more interesting, but
I like Paul Emsley for the role.
yeah,
Paul Emsley was better.
You know, the weird thing was I did a bunch of competition stuff, and I actually did really well in it. And the only thing that I completely crashed and burned on was fine arts, because I didn't care, but it annoyed me. So I've actually been spending the last 30 years trying to make up for the fact that I don't know much about art. I've done a passable job for somebody with no real education. I don't pretend to understand art. I struggle to understand art, but I can tell this is not good. I feel like somebody should have exercised some quality control somewhere. Maybe just throwing money at this guy and not knowing what was under the sheet was not a great idea.
Before unveiling it to the world.
Yeah.
That's just awful. That's
I
awful.
understand why Charles had it done, because he did the portrait of his father
Mm-hmm.
in 2008, and it's actually a pretty good portrait. It's just his face, but
You know
But
what?
it's-
It does assassin. This is like the post I am Vigo the Carpathian getting slimed. This is post Vigo getting slimed by the Ghostbusters portrait.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
that painting's going to get conveniently lost.
So Skep, you've had kids
awful.
make art for you, and when the kids do a really good job, it goes right in the center of the refrigerator door, doesn't it? You get those little magnets and put. If it's really good, but if the kid makes something that's almost embarrassing for them, I mean, I know you still love them. Don't you put it like on the side of the refrigerator, just like not in the prime location?
You have to understand something. My refrigerator, I have 3 refrigerators. Well, one is a big stand-up freezer, and we call it the walk-in freezer. These are all festooned with
Just covered.
from through covered. All the fronts of all 3 of them and the side of one of them is just plastered with stuff. There's stuff all over the house. The walls are covered with stuff. I don't have regular pictures of the wall. I have the sign in glitter my daughter made years ago to put on her room, Andrea, so everyone knows Andrea's room in glitter.
Yeah, glitter is one of those things that, as you become
It's on my
older,
wall.
takes on a very different meaning. You know, little kids and glitter is one thing, but if you're like a grown ass man and you come home with glitter on you, you're gonna get some. You're gonna get some weird looks. But I'm just saying that I think this is a side of the refrigerator painting. They're going to say thank you and shake this guy's hand, and it's going to be great. And it is not going to be displayed in what the English would call pride of place.
No, no, that's going to be in a powder room somewhere.
If it survives.
In the guest bathroom. So
They'll give it to Harry.
yeah, give it to Harry and Megan.
The other Harry, the fourth. The
The
former
Megan wants it to be purple. Anyway, let's see.
No, they'll send it to York.
So guess who is going to be one of the grand marshals of the LA Pride Parade, Skep?
Oh,
Harvey
they finally called, huh? Congratulations.
We're just
Thanks.
weeks away from the
Oh
annual
my.
LA Pride Parade, and
Of
this
course
morning
it's
we have a
George
major
Takei. Of
and
course it
exclusive
is.
announcement.
Eyewitness News reporter Jaysha Patel joins us live here in studio with more on this year's Grand Marshals. Jaysha.
The Grand
Yeah, Doug
Marshals.
and Rachel, really exciting news that's just been announced. Renowned
Super
actor
exciting.
and civil rights activist
Oh
George
boy, they
Takei
all
has been
sound so
named
excited.
Icon Grand Marshal for the 2024
Oh boy.
LA Pride Parade. He says he's humbled, honored, and is filled with gratitude for the progress made,
Well,
and he says he's
wasn't
inspired
he,
to
like, a
continue
few
to
years
fight for the
back
full
involved in a
acceptance and
sex
equality
scandal?
for all. Now, this year's Pride Parade.
Yeah,
No.
so George
All
Takei and Cassandro L. Exotico and
Kristen Crowley.
Kristen Crowley. I don't know who any of these people are except for George Takei.
She's the fire marshal.
Ah, okay. Is she an actual fire marshal, or is that just part of a
Yeah, no,
burlesque act?
she's actually the chief fire marshal for the county.
Okay.
No, I looked her up because I didn't recognize her name. Cassandra L's, I think she was on Drag Race. That's the reason why I recognized her name. And I was like, who the fuck is Kristen Crowley? That's what the internet said.
So remember we talked about that rock formation near Hollywood where they've shot all the Star Trek stuff?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Captain Kirk versus the Gorn Lego recreation.
This is
Nice.
better than the original.
I'm going to turn the sound down a little bit. This is so awesome. I love this.
How are they gonna do the grapple?
Okay, I don't want to steal this guy's whole thing. Let's go to the boulder time.
Oh, it's cute.
Sorry.
Wrong season, man.
Oh.
I love this. I'm telling you, Star Trek fans, when they do fan stuff, they do a hell of a good job, which is amazing considering how much the studios don't want them doing any of it. That if the Star Wars people, but the Star Wars people deserve a lot more credit. They're much better about encouraging fan-generated stuff than Star Trek is. I think that's one of the big advantages that the Star Wars universe has, sort of as a corporate culture. Maybe things have changed under Disney, but it always seemed like they had a much better relationship with fan creators.
It has and it hasn't. I mean, under Disney, but like that was the thing. That was the whole mentality, and thankfully he's still alive to sort of kind of keep these things going. Of George Lucas's dream, he wanted to inspire other people to do stuff with it. So when people do stuff with it, you can't fault them for it. And part of his selling of the IP, there was some I don't know the exact wording, but there was some stipulation about letting fan-created material still be a thing, as long as it wasn't
making money,
copyright and infringement, like literally making feature-length movies and video games and blah, 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 that are like, you know, for-profit endeavors, like corporate endeavors.
So no Axonar, basically, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yes and no. There are YouTube movies, full-length Star Wars movies that are actually, some of them are pretty decent. But they'll never see a courtroom because it's been sort of like an unwritten kind of, you know, agreement that even though Disney does own the IP, they're not really going to go after these people. Even though at one time, let's not forget, Disney wanted to start suing cosplayers and people who dressed up like their characters for children's birthday parties for IP infringement. So maybe a win in George's pocket. I don't know. Like, I mean, we don't know the actual nitty gritty of it all, so we can't say. But you know, and you see this happen all over the place. Warhammer is famous for this type of stuff, where they literally used lawfare to strike down a whole bunch of YouTube content creators. Arch Warhammer had to change his name over it, but the people who actually like made actual content, like pieces of art and stuff, and they crushed their channels, but they said, you know, we just beat you in the face with our right hand. Here's our left hand to pick you back up and give you a job, and then get their grubby little fingers into their artwork to have creative control, and the product suffered immensely.
So, from what the internet says, the stipulation Lucas put forward was that fans had to avoid sexually explicit Star Wars stories.
So no Rule 34.
Well, it can exist on fanfiction.net and stuff like that.
No. She means in like mainstream media kind of stuff.
He doesn't like that.
Okay.
Which is fair. Which it's
yeah.
But the thing is, let's face facts. George Lucas is a greedy little gremlin. He could have done what the Wolf Among Us creator did and released it to Creative Commons if he was really okay with this. He wanted his $4 billion.
Well, he still wants his money. Yeah. I mean, he's a cat. But the fact that he was very adamant about letting other people do,
because
like fans again, there's a very distinct delineation between somebody making some fan works of art versus somebody who's going to create a product to be bought and sold.
I know, but at the same time, the reason why Star Wars got built out was because of the fans. So a lot of the stuff that is cited now, even during George Lucas's time, was created by the fan base. Races, planets, a lot of stuff. So he almost doesn't exist without the fan base, and he knows that, and he's not stupid. Not the biggest fan of the man. And that's kind of the thing of, like, I think that's the reason why he's okay with it, because he's like, well, y'all helped me, so here you go.
Well, yeah, and like I said at the beginning, it also really helps the fact that he's still alive, because oh my God, Tolkien not here, Roddenberry not here. Roddenberry is too busy doing fucking backflips in his grave with the type of egregious shit that they're putting out.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Deep Space Nine would have made Roddenberry lose his shit too.
Yeah.
No, I think he would have. I think whatever. We'll not get into that.
Yeah,
kind of-
it's like,
Yeah. Thank
But
you,
you know
Jerry
what?
Taylor, for ruining my legacy.
But I think, you know, if they were alive and had some say, whether or not it's direct control, but like if the fans were to say, you know, listen to, you know, what Luke's Hamill said about the Last Jedi or whatever that shit was, you know, the fans still listen, even though he's an insufferable prick. The fans still listen, and it had an impact. So much so that Disney wants to retcon the entire Post trilogy. I mean, they've been milling back and forth. They're afraid to touch it. They've been going off on other routes and making other content, which is fine. But I don't think that the names are Tolkien.
Kathleen Kid Tolkien.
I was going to quickly touch on. I don't think Tolkien would have been on board with the Rings of Power, what his grandson is doing, his son is doing.
Which is season 2's coming out. Everybody, get ready.
Woo! Good times. We have
They now have wigs.
we have a bunch of cool stuff though that we still have to cover. So I'm gonna move things along. So
stick and move.
So in terms of you guys have probably already seen this, but you're aware of the weird cat fight that happened in the Congress, right? Between Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC. This is so beautiful.
Good rat shit.
Chair recognizes Ms. Green.
I'd like to know if any of the Democrats on this committee are employing Judge Merchan's daughter.
Oh no, you didn't.
Please
Oh,
tell me
girl.
what that has to do with Merrick Garland.
Is she a porn star?
Oh,
That-
Goldman. That's right. He's advising. Okay.
So this is the thing that leads up to it.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about
just
AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I
you feel
think your
stuck in the
fake
courtroom.
eyelashes are messing up.
No,
with your
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Order.
Okay, and then it gets worse.
That's beneath even
order of your Does it? No.
Yes, it does.
No, I think
point of order. We have a point of order. Mr. Lynch, state your point.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to ask the parliamentarian if your conduct here in raising money in connection with this hearing is referable to the Ethics Committee within this hearing. Is a motion in order to refer your conduct and your abuse of
It's not a point of order.
Mr. I do have a point of order, and I would like
Here we go.
to take down Ms. Green's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you?
Are your feelings
Her
hurt?
words down. Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Baby
Don't
girl.
even
I tell you,
play,
my
baby.
son
Baby girl, don't even play. It's like, wow, that was kind of amazing. But okay, so we all know about that. But what you might not know about is Fetterman, because he's a little addled, decided to wade into this
Anna Paulina
this
Luna?
debacle. AOC throws a massive tantrum at Fetterman after he calls out wild exchange involving her, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Crockett. Yeah, when even John Fetterman knows that you're kind of being ridiculous. Yeah.
I don't understand why Fetterman gets so much crap. Honestly,
he's definitely doing better than expected, but the bar was kind of low. But what he said was, in the past, I've described the U.S. House as the Jerry Springer Show. Today, I'm apologizing to the Jerry Springer Show. So AOC came back and decided, I understand that you likely would not have stood up for your colleagues and seem to be confused about racism and misogyny being a both sides issue, but I stand up to bullies instead of becoming one. And to the women of Pennsylvania, I'd stand up for you too. Enjoy your Friday. God,
It's
what a
like,
bitch.
honey, you are a cry bully. AOC is a cry bully.
She's such a cry
pathetic
bully.
I
little-
agree with you, Serenity. You're
those
absolutely right.
pathetic little shits. Like all of the
You got
people
it.
like on the the voice actors and all those people on who do like the tabletop games and stuff like that. They wanted to be the bullies so bad that now they've become the bullies, and now they are the bullies, and they can't recognize the fact that they are. You are a bully, Marjorie Taylor Greene owns up to it. She doesn't try to play like she's some. Well, she plays like she's a savior, but she still admits to the fact she's a bitch. Like AOC, you're go back to bartending, baby. You don't know what the hell you talk about.
I wouldn't trust her to bartend. I really wouldn't.
No.
She'd probably help.
video
She'd
cuts
probably
off the
help
best
the guy
part, though.
roofie you. Sorry.
The video cuts off the best part because it gets into it. It's like and then Anna Paulina Luna is like, Anna Paulina Luna turns to what's the other chick's name?
MTG.
No. The black woman who, for some reason, as soon as she got elected to Congress, Crockett. As soon as she got elected to Congress, she started talking, hood.
I know. It's
Before
hilarious.
that, like she spoke normally, like any sort of
spoke like a
American
proper white
would, and then the second she won, she starts talking street. Anyway, Anna Paulina Luna looks over and says, "Calm down," and saying it like a man, says it to a hysterical woman, and she says it again. She looks her dead across the aisle there and says, "Calm down." And then the third time she's like, "Calm down!" Like, oh my God, it was beautiful. This was such an amazing exchange, and I know it's not a good thing. It's not something you want to see in your Congress. But you know what? I've had to deal with this in my fucking parliament my entire goddamn adult life, Harry. So you can suck on it.
Yeah, I was about to say, by comparison,
Parliament is worse.
Yeah, our like governmental like body kind of things are a lot more calm when you compare them to other countries. Like there's people fist fights, trying to stab each other, screaming at each other. Ours are just like, excuse me.
Yeah, but again, Serenity, it's something that made at least in perception, the American government, the powerhouse, the global influence it was the fact that they had a better, air quotes, I'm being very, a better system of government than everybody else, was because it was more civilized than the savages over there, or even the parliamentarians, those crazy British nuts,
Yeah, I want to see somebody get their weave taken off. That's what I want to see.
Yes.
That's what I want to see. What you doing
US
pulling on my weave?
Hey, the caning of Charles Sumner on May 22nd, 1856, in the United States Senate chamber, when Representative Preston Brooks, a pro-slavery Democrat from South Carolina, used a walking cane to beat the fucking shit out of Senator Charles Sumner, an abolitionist Republican from Massachusetts. The attack was in retaliation for an invective-laden speech given by Sumner 2 days before that he fiercely criticized the slaveholders, including pro-slavery South Carolina Senator Andrew Butler, who happened to be, I think he was a cousin of Brooks or something. Anyway, the beating, Sumner almost died. He almost died from this. He never really fully recovered from that. But and there were other fights on the floor of the House of Representatives and the Senate. This was the most significant one. So at one time, it was a pretty exciting place to be. It is kind of namby-pamby now with them playing patty cake and telling each other, "I'm going to tell." "No, I'm telling Mom." They're just they just look like children.
Honestly, I'm kind of in favor of this a little bit because it dispenses with the formality bullshit and just embraces its roots of just people screaming at each other. Instead of hearing people defiantly say "reclaiming my time," we just get the yelling, which is what we really know what they want to do.
I like it when the senators from opposite sides of the aisle used to just go out afterward and smoke cigars and drink whiskey and have steak. And it was a way better time when people were more collegial. This is entertaining, but this is not good.
Well,
yeah,
it's also contextual. This was after a long day. I believe it was like 8 or 9 p.m. at this point, and they were doing this stupid shit. And these people, you got to remember, these people don't work. They don't put in a day's work ever. So for them to have to deal with this committee for 8 hours over the course of the day, they're cranky, they're hungry, they're, whatever. And it really shows who is really kind of like the petulant little children in the room that shouldn't be there.
Well, since you said petulant, we talked about spite houses a little bit last week. And I ran across this story from Seaside, one of my second favorite city to make fun of now. Because when I run out of time talking about Oakland, I like to bring up the city of Seaside. So
Seaside man getting a lot of attention for what he did to comply with an order from the city. City told him to get his boat out from public view. So he built a fence, only to have his neighbor, who's an artist, paint a photorealistic version of the boat on the fence. Now, pictures of the boat have gone viral online. The boat owners...
Yeah, so the fence where the boat used to be out in front, he put the boat behind the fence, and part of the boat is sticking up, but the part that you can't see, he basically had a picture done of the boat on the fence, so when you drive by, it looks like the boat is still there.
I love that so much. I love it, love it.
I think this is great.
It's just perfect. I wonder if they'll serve him a notice to repaint it.
Yeah,
as a nice
artful retribution. California man thwarts city officials with boat mural. I think this is one of my favorite stories of the night, because it's like I've never heard of a spite mural before. I mean, I'm sure that they exist, but this is like a new take on spite that I hadn't quite anticipated before.
It's malicious compliance to the
it is malicious compliance.
Right.
Oh, really?
That's well put.
Now, they actually tried to get him to take the mural down, and
Did they really?
And they failed. Yeah. No, they tried to get him to take the mural down, and he actually won that fight.
Court?
Yeah. Or at least there was a hearing.
Yeah, well, yes.
And they said, no, you don't have authority to do
civil.
this. Yeah.
Just
sorry. Yeah, so screw you, Seaside. Because Seaside, as I've said before, is kind of a terrible place. This is another thing that happened in the same week.
This is the woman arrested for attempted murder. 31-year-old Ashley Sanders. Seaside police say early Tuesday morning in this neighborhood on San Pablo Avenue and Serape Court, Sanders pulled up to this SUV and lit it on fire.
There was a female sitting in a car, and she noticed a car pull up next to her. She was parked, another vehicle pulled up next to her, and she was wondering what was going on. She heard a liquid being poured onto her vehicle. She looked over, saw another female.
Police believe this was the result of a bad breakup, that Sanders was trying to kill her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend.
I mean, can you imagine just being so deranged that you get dumped and then you see the guy's new girlfriend and you decide to light her on fire by pouring gasoline on a car that she's in? Yeah. I can't wrap my head around that level of violence. In what universe is that okay? And why was she driving around with a can of gas to begin with? So many questions.
Yeah, that's...
Seaside is just one of those places kind of like Oakland. I almost feel like we should just write it off.
Yeah.
Oakland is just terrible.
Oakland needs to be walled off now.
Well, I mean, this is a story. So I'm deflated. Restaurant owner thinking of leaving Oakland after 2 break-ins in one night. The same restaurant was broken into twice in one night.
Do they have a queue outside where the thieves?
Yeah, is there like a take a number machine for people that are okay? Number 54, it is your turn to loot this property.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you take after the first looting? What's left?
Yeah, Oakland. Also in San Francisco, I think this is one of the lighter stories. What do you guys think of this paint job? And don't you love the gold dodecahedron? That's actually not a dodecahedron. Yes. I don't know what that is, because that is not a pentagon.
That is. No, it's not. That is
somebody really a fan of Stargate? I'm not sure what I'm looking at here.
Well, it alternates with squares and other hexagons, so it's a hexagon chain, like a benzene chain.
But what do you think of this paint job?
Yes,
it's unique.
It's dog shit.
I don't mind it.
It's fine.
It's certainly driving down the property values of the surrounding houses.
By the way, I'm blue-green colorblind. Am I missing anything in this? It looks like a house.
It's a lot of blue, green, and purple.
It's got a really cool drawing in the bottom right hand thing.
It looks like a Pantone book exploded, and
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it does. It's a perspective drawing. I can see that.
It is pretty wild. I almost think it's ugly enough to be pretty, but it's just no. Neighbors are probably not happy about that.
Not my taste, but not my house, and I feel bad for their neighbors because that's a beautiful. That's
one of the beautiful old Victorians. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the painted ladies. You worthless piece of shit. Not you all. The person who did that. Like, why? What? It's like millennial gray. Like, why? Why are you destroying beautiful old houses? Buy a new piece of crap and stay away from the old stuff, and let the people who can respect and treat it with the respect it deserves, like the beautiful painted lady she is. Like, just treat her with respect. You terrible human being. I'm terrified to see what the inside looks like because it's probably all white.
Oh yeah, it is probably terrible.
And they probably have a 3-year-old who they make wear beige and have beige toys.
They probably have one of those swings like that at that park.
And
no, the swing's fine. You shush.
The child will become a beige transsexual.
The child will probably kill his parents in their sleep.
So I think we haven't taken a stab at the boomers lately, Skep. I think we have to talk about these two. This story baffles me. Priest, 82, and retired teacher, 85, smash case holding a copy of the Magna Carta.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
In an environmental protest. Why though? Why? It's like you guys are old enough to know better.
No, this is narcissistic. This is people who they are so consumed with their own righteousness and the perceived righteousness of their cause. They see the world completely through that lens to where they throw away all of the normal social conventions and rules and regulations that regulate our behavior in public aside and do something completely antisocial like this. It's just disgusting.
Well, Rita Panani, I think your name is, on Sky News Australia. She was talking about Greta.
We follow each other.
Greta Thunberg, and she described her as, God, what was it? Depressing doom goblin, I think is what she called Greta Thunberg. I love that because she really is a doom goblin.
Yes, she is.
And a lot of these weird protesters just do things that make no sense to me. There was a bunch of them that. Sorry.
I don't think they got through the case either. Like, they had a chisel.
No, they didn't damage it, but they were definitely trying.
Oh, they were. It was funny to watch these two crippled old ladies, like,
this was not tomato soup.
Yeah. This was just like, they were just, it's like, you're not, it's like, honey, you are going to do it. But go ahead, sorry.
Well, in terms of, I mean, we've got all kinds of stuff we can talk about. In terms of the race to the bottom, we've talked about fast food, too. So McDonald's is really having problems because their food just costs too damn much.
Yeah.
Except for their kind of idle Gen Zs that are well compensated. The ones that have tech jobs and haven't been laid off. They can afford to go there. But the average McDonald's enjoyer, not so much these days for $20 for a single meal for one person. So they've decided to respond by doing this. McDonald's is getting rid of free drink refills, and more fast food chains may follow.
Oh,
drink refills are so inexpensive. That syrup that at the fountain, it's pure profit. It's absolutely pure profit. Of all the places to clamp down at a time when you're already being criticized for being too expensive, you decide to initiate a program to do this.
Here's the thing. Wait. Hold on. I must speak here. Okay. McDonald's is famous at the highest level of management for having the best quantitative skills to derive marginal efficiencies and marginal profit from everything. They squeeze everything from everything to the last deal. I suspect that this is some accounting thing that some CMA has come up with, that who works there and says, look, they've, this much money. Theoretically, it's not much money per place, but spread across the thing. If we really, iron fist this thing, just if we just get 90% participation from our franchise, we'll save this much money. And that was done in a public place where nobody dared vote against something that was going to give the company more money that was being promised this way. That's how stuff like this goes through board meetings and stuff. I'll bet you anything this is some guy's idea or some pet project of some asshole.
Well, they claimed, and this is the stupidest piece of spin I've heard in a while, that they were doing this to benefit the customers by giving them a more consistent dining experience.
Oh, bullshit. That's absolute pap. That's pap from the public relations part. That's absolute.
It is.
Garbage.
No, it's absolute spin. You had a thought, Serenity. What were you thinking about this?
It's the same issue that people find with Starbucks, and because I've seen this happen. People will order a meal, a kid's meal usually, get a drink, and then just sit there all day and refill the drink constantly. They're trying to empty out their dining rooms, is what they're basically trying to do, because they think it'll give them more turnover, or it'll force them to buy a bigger drink because they can't refill it all the time. That's what I think they're trying to do, is that they're trying to force the consumption of larger, even though the products are smaller now. So now the rest of the world can't say we have too large of servings. But yeah, I think that's what it is. It was just either people getting a water cup and then getting soda because no one checked them, or it's because people just sit there all day and don't get anything else and then just leave without buying a more expensive meal. That's all it is.
Just as a speculation, do you think most McDonald's could survive on just their drive-in traffic, just their drive-through traffic?
It depends, because I know around here, because we have so many blue-collar guys, they have double and triple drive-throughs. So it's faster for them to do and get everything done. I don't know about anywhere else. I think they could. Yeah. I think if they went the route of Rallies, or does In-N-Out have a dining room? I don't know.
I think that's what they want. I think that's what they want.
They want to turn it.
They want to, when you're talking to a McDonald's person, like a McDonald's executive, these guys always refer to these. They don't refer to them as restaurants. They call them stores, because that's what they do. They sell you things, and they have a product line that they sell you, and part of their overhead is you get to stand there and eat, or you get to sit there and eat it at their restaurant. They have to heat, light, maintain staff to keep it clean. It goes on and on and on. That's a big overhead. That's a huge overhead item. If they can convert to a takeout only, that's with their profit model. It'll be like manufacturing money.
It's making racks look pretty good, don't you think, Serenity?
I love racks.
I would go to a racks. I'd happily eat a roast beef sandwich.
You just want to do it for their commercial.
No, I just want to do it because the roast beef sandwich. Don't threaten me with a good time. I like a good roast beef sandwich. That's like more like real food than this McDonald's stuff.
Well, it's kind of like, at least around here. I don't know if they're doing it other places, but not McDonald's, but Little Caesars. Little Caesars is now playing at the food truck game. Really? They have a Little Caesars food truck that drives around.
Food truck.
Wow.
I think that's a food truck with Little Caesars. What happens is there, I think, probably a food truck says, I'll promote your pizza. I'll even buy some of it and take it out and sell it and split the profits.
It's
something like that. Is it fully owned by Little Caesars?
I Googled it, at least for around here. It's fully owned by Little, because it has all their branding all over it. And their Instagram and their Twitter around here also tells where it goes.
Well,
it's too bad the Wienermobile doesn't actually serve hot dogs, but
I know it'd be wonderful.
Man, food trucks,
they'd make a killing.
Food trucks are great because money is tight for everybody. I'm trying to be more responsible, and I found a place. I've been hitting the food trucks a lot harder lately and finding it to be pretty great. birria tacos. I found a place that serves nothing but biryani. That is actually amazing, like many different styles of biryani, which is sort of like, I think, Indian rice pilaf, but way spicier and more entertaining. Just all kinds of niche foods and cheaper versions of things. Usually the menus are smaller because, of course, what can you do in a truck? But food trucks are great. I like them.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to do a follow-up to the weird Miss USA thing that's been going on, right? So we have...
They finally release them?
Fallout continues from the Miss USA resignation as runner-up declines the crown. So they tried to give Miss USA's resigned. They tried to give the crown to the runner-up, and the runner-up said, yeah, no, I'm good. Something is seriously going on because even the runner-up basically turned it down. The only other thing that came out in the news was former Miss USA was subject of inappropriate advances from parade driver. So this is literally her complaining that the person driving the parade float thing that she was in didn't treat her properly. Now, I would kind of think that by the time you get to that level of being a grown-ass adult woman, that you could handle a driver behaving, being a dick. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think women are just frail, and I would think to get to this point, she would just be able to handle this.
She's probably a barracuda. You probably could,
This feels like trying to give like a rational excuse for why they don't want to do it because they can't say the real excuse. This seems like a smokescreen to me. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's weird. It's a weird thing because the thing is like, is it okay? The parade driver came on to you. There's been stories for years about male judges coming on to these women. Like, I have no doubt that has not stopped.
The parade driver is a cog in a machine, and a totally expendable one at that.
Yeah, and it's a thing of like, one, you're probably never privately alone with that dude unless he's in the car. And if that's the case, you're being filmed by hundreds of people. Make a fucking scene, lady. But it's one of those things. He probably just asked for her number, and she got pissed off because it's not some rich finance dude.
Yeah, it's elevator gate all over again.
Yeah, it just seems like bullshit. It's like have lawyer up. Go, I have to tell my truth, air quotes, and then tell the truth of why you quit, ladies. Come on now.
Or just get on with your life and shut up.
Yeah, it's like pick one.
Yeah, I mean, if something terrible happened to you, call the police. Otherwise, if you don't want to do it, just don't do it and just go away and stop talking about this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when hush money used to stand for something.
I know, it used to be great.
Yeah.
Now it don't mean shit.
Yeah, so this Miss USA thing, I don't know what's going on, but it's just... To go full Carl Pilkington, do we really need these pageants?
No. But they're interesting, and they give good scholarships. Supposedly the scholarships are really, really good.
Yeah, I actually was looking for an example. I'm not going to show it just in the interest of time, but I found an example of Miss America in 1958 on What's My Line. And so watching the way the crowd responded to Miss America coming out, the crowd was very positive toward the new Miss America. And she was from Georgia, and she's very nice and all that sort of stuff. And of course the panel was very respectful and happy to see her and stuff, but it was like big deal. They really felt like she represented America.
That was the feeling back then.
Yeah, that was the feeling back there. It's like, hey, this is who we've chosen via this contest, this competition, to be the face of America for American women and America for the next year. It was like a big deal. And I look at these Miss USA things and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I don't feel like the magic is there anymore. I don't think the magic's been there for a long time. No. It just seems like a bunch of creepy men creeping on a bunch of women, and it just feels weird.
It hasn't been there since like the mid to late 80s. Really?
Probably. That's probably the last time I actually watched one of those.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
But it used to be a big deal.
Is there a white Miss USA?
The thing is that it used to be acceptable to objectify, and it's not even really just women, just people in general. It was acceptable.
Is it really objectification though? I mean, really. I mean, it's easy for that word to be thrown around. I don't think it's really objectification.
Well,
she's a winner. She won. She any more so than Bruce Jenner winning the Olympics or Mark Spitz winning the Olympics. You're not objectifying them because they won in a competition. I'm sorry, but I think the O word gets used far too readily. That's all I'm calling. That's all I'm saying, Jack. Sorry, go on. I interrupted you.
But what I'm trying to get at is that I don't think that it's wrong to recognize a human being as being attractive.
That's kind of a mom and apple pie statement. What are you really trying to say? Everybody in the world agrees with that. Be more precise in what you're trying to say, because I'm trying to follow what you're trying to get to.
Well, no, because the idea is that the way in which these contests are perceived, it's kind of like saying that I suppose it would require me to understand where the other people are coming from, the people who would criticize a contest like this.
Yeah, if you can steel man their argument, it makes it a lot easier for you to understand your own argument. Is the thing, because that's the whole thing about debating, right? We were talking about the contrarian thing a while ago, and I think that if you enjoy debating, the thing that makes the exercise better is not just winning by scoring rhetorical points, but if you can't steel man the other person's argument, it's really hard to just dominate in a debate. Yeah,
it's fun to do.
Yeah, if you want to be the best version of their argument, not find some chink in their armor and then
or some fault in their delivery or their personality that you can exploit and divert the conversation and seem to win. You actually want to beat them. Yes.
Or I'm just gonna throw this out there. Maybe I'm having difficulty because I'm falling asleep.
That could be it. So we're going to do one more thing. We're going to do one more thing. This was from Geodes, who ran away, so he can't talk about it. Belgian government, is Belgium even a real place, Skep?
Yes, it
government will intervene in cases where prostitutes refuse sex acts too often. So the government has decided to come in and make things better for the prostitutes, the sex workers,
sex workers wanted this.
By putting their shmoo of government control on how they do their job.
Tell you what, man.
But as part of this, because of course industry petitions too, right? You're going to make it into an industry. They basically want to make it so you can essentially fine prostitutes who decide to decline clients too often. That, as the Gen Z would say, kind of gives me the ick. The government's basically telling you got to put out or be punished.
This is because part of what's going on there is to be licensed as a sex worker is like being a cabbie hack in New York City, and you have a license, and if you're not using that thing, then you're taking up a license that could be used by someone who would do that thing.
So the government gets the pimp hand. Sorry, Serenity, go ahead.
Exactly, the government's the pimp. That's well said. Yeah.
Well, it's like, isn't it to use Skep's example, isn't it like being the cabbie thing? Like they only hand out so many licenses a year or something like that.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Precisely. So it's one of those, if you choose to go into this profession and you're going to know, because it's all over the news that they have this rule now, and you still choose to go into the profession and you refuse, I think, 10 sex acts in 6 months?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you go to arbitration. And the reason the sex workers wanted that was they wanted the chance at arbitration to instead of having the pimp beat the crap out of them, they sit in front of an arbiter and in what amounts to in Belgium a civil court and work things out, which from their point of view, it comes out, it says that they can be punished for that. Well, they get punished. That's an unfortunate translation, I believe. Puni, that the recourse that is available to the person upon who is dependent upon their activity, their sexual activity for part of their income, and is therefore has a protectable interest and is therefore hurt by the inactivity. They have an interest, and so they said, okay, when that happens, when that situation happens, and it happens a lot, then we're going to put it in front of an arbiter, and they're going to decide what's fair, and everybody's going to agree to abide by that, and that's part of the condition for your license, and that's what's going on there.
Still gives me the ick.
Yeah, it's still disgusting.
Well, it's like I understand, but at the same time, like Skep said, protects them from getting, as best the government can, from getting the beat down from the pimp.
What do you do with the babies?
I mean, I'm hoping these.
What do you do with little chlamydia?
Who knows? Apparently, they have national health care. I wonder how the people feel about paying for.
Oh, they do.
I wonder how they feel about that.
Belgium is basically a corporation.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
It's Belgium. Not really that surprising. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's like I kind of understand and it kind of protects them as best they can. It's not going to stop the pimps who really want to hurt them, but it kind of gives them some kind of leeway. The whole if they refuse sex more than 10 times in a 6 month, that's one of those things where it's kind of like I'm hoping the law has a little bit more nuance. It's like, if you refuse it but you're sick, that makes sense, so we're going to let that kind of thing. But it's hard to say with the law because I'm not hunting it down.
Well, luckily this is a Belgium problem, but all these people who say, "Oh, we should just legalize it," it's like, well, legalizing is one thing, but as soon as the government starts regulating it, oh my God!
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like pot. It's like pot in California and Colorado. It'll go back to black market real fucking quick.
Yeah, the idea of these girls having like taxi medallions, I was thinking I could spin that into a joke. That's not good. I think we're all starting to get a little tired, and we should probably just wrap this up. You're typing again, Skep.
Sorry, we have been your minions of the zoo this evening.
Yeah, we have been. This has been the Saturday show. Thank you, panel. Thank you, chat. The zoo is closed. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.